What's going on, everybody? It's your pal Kooky McGee, aka Keegan here. I'm back with another video once again, and hope you're all having a nice day so far. Anyways, it is time for another movie review video once again, and today we're going to be talking about 4 films that I saw in theaters recently. So without further ado, let's talk about them. So the first film we're going to talk about today is The Voice of Hind, Rajab. This one was directed by Kawather Ben Hanyar. I saw this one last Thursday and I thought it was really, really good. This is one of the few films that's been nominated for Best, I think it was not Best Picture, it was Best International Feature at this year's Oscars. And I think it really deserves the nomination. And this is probably one of the most important films that anyone could watch today. So this film is a dramatization of an event that occurred back in early 2024 in Gaza. You got a group of volunteers of the Palestinian Red Crescent Society who receive a phone call from a 6-year-old girl named Hind Rajab, who is trapped in a car and is under attack by some IDF soldiers, and they're trying to do everything in their power to save this poor girl's life and send out an ambulance to go get her and bring her to safety. But they are ordered not to send an ambulance out to the area, and there's just a lot of things that are holding them back from trying to do everything to save this poor girl's life. Now, I really, really enjoyed this film, although it should go without saying that it's definitely an intense film, quite the nail biter, so to speak. Especially the fact that instead of using an actress to play Hind Rajab, they actually used the real phone calls that Hind Rajab made to the Palestinian Red Crescent Society, which actually makes sense, especially for respect for Hind Rajab's mother. But it has some really good performances. It's intense, and it's definitely a heartbreaking film too, especially how relevant this film is today given the current events of what's going on in the world. But I thought it was really well made, and while it's not really a film I would watch again given the subject matter, but it is one that I can't stress enough that it's one that everybody should see. If you haven't seen The Voice of Hind Rajab, definitely give this one a watch. It's not really an easy film to sit through given the subject matter and relevance to the events going on in Gaza today. And all in all, I thought it's probably one of the most important films that anyone could watch today. And interestingly, it was executive produced by Brad Pitt, Joaquin Phoenix, Rooney Mara, Alfonso Cuarón, and Jonathan Glazer. They're all executive producers of this movie, interestingly. But if you haven't seen The Voice of Hind Rajab, definitely check it out. It is probably one of the most important films today. So I'm giving The Voice of Hind Rajab a 9 out of 10. Next up is Send Help, the new film from director Sam Raimi, who is the same director of the Evil Dead trilogy, the Spider-Man trilogy, Drag Me to Hell, and a couple of other films. And this is his first R-rated film that he's directed since The Gift from 2000. I saw this one last Sunday, and I thought it was pretty good. Basically, it's the movie stars Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien. Rachel McAdams plays Linda, a woman who works for this company. And Dylan O'Brien plays Bradley, who is the new CEO of the company after his father steps down from the company. It didn't say why he stepped down. I can't remember if the previous CEO passed away or something, but he was the son of the old CEO, and now he's in charge of the company. And let's just say Bradley's kind of an asshole. He turned down Linda's promotion that was promised to her, and decided to give that new position to somebody else who he knew. So then one day, Linda and Bradley are on a flight to another country or something for business or something. When then the plane crashes and Linda and Bradley are the only survivors, and they all are ended up stranded on a deserted island. And then it becomes a bit of a battle of wits between the two for survival until help arrives. Well, it's one of those movies like Castaway. I'm trying to remember what else. It's also kind of like that TV show Lost, where it involves people trapped on a deserted island. You can probably guess where this movie goes from here. Now, I like this movie for what it was, although it definitely wasn't Sam Raimi's best movie by any means, but I still really enjoyed it. Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien were both good in this movie. Although my only issues with this movie is the CGI in this movie looks terrible. Like there was a part where Linda is hunting for a big pig, and it's just a CGI pig, of course, but the CGI just looks really, really bad, and it just doesn't even look that convincing to me. And I find it kind of went a little bit downhill with the twist near the end, but it didn't really ruin the movie for me. But all in all, I still thought this was a fun little movie and a nice return to somewhat of a return to form for Sam Raimi. Although this definitely wasn't his best film, but it was still a fun film that I personally enjoyed. But if you like Sam Raimi's movies, you might like this one. I thought it was pretty good, but again, not his best movie, but I still enjoyed it for what it was. So I don't have anything else to say about this one, so I'm giving Send Help a 7 out of 10. Next up is a movie that a lot of people are talking about, and well, I saw it, and it's time for me to talk about it. And that film is Iron Lung, directed by Mark Fishbash, or better known by his YouTube alias, Markiplier. This was his debut film, and he not only directed the film, but he also starred, wrote the film, and financed this whole film by himself. He basically did everything for this movie, all by himself, pretty much. Now, obviously, he didn't do every single thing, but he did all the writing, directing. He got the lead role, and he self-financed the film. And this film is based on an indie game from, I believe it was 2021 or 2022. I forgot the name of the person who made the game. And to be honest, I never actually heard of the game that this movie is based on up until recently. So I kind of went into this movie a little bit blind, not really sure what it was about, only knowing that it was directed by Markiplier and that it was based on an indie game that I've never played. I know this one's got a lot of mixed reactions, but I personally really, really enjoyed this film. I thought it was great, although it's definitely not for everybody, but I really, really enjoyed it. So this film takes place in the future, the post-apocalyptic future, where all the stars and planets are gone, and they all disappear into what is called the Blood Ocean. And Markiplier plays as this guy who is a convict who is forced to operate a submarine known as the Iron Lung to find missing artifacts, planets, and stars inside the submarine in exchange for his freedom. And it's only him inside the submarine. He's basically welded into the submarine, so he can't really escape unless he gets the job done. And you see our character he kind of starts to lose his mind and stuff as the film progresses. And yeah, it's kind of hard for me to explain what the story of this film is about without getting into too much detail and avoid spoilers, but that's basically what the premise of the film is about. I honestly thought this was a really, really good movie, but like I said, I've never played the game that it was based on and never actually heard of it till recently when this movie was coming out. But I really, really liked the film. It had some really good atmosphere. It was well made. It was well shot. Even though basically the whole movie takes place in an entire submarine, and the only character you really see on screen is Markiplier's character. Although there are three other characters who appear in the film, but they're only seen through the window around around very early in the film. One of whom was actually played by a another YouTuber, Jacksepticeye, who I actually didn't realize was in this movie until the credits rolled. So that was actually pretty interesting. I also really liked the music of the film. It was all in all, I really really enjoyed the film, and while I would recommend checking it out, like I said earlier, it's not for everybody, but I personally really really enjoyed the film. I haven't played the game it was based on, but maybe I'll try it out one day. My only issue with this movie is that well, the movie is 2 hours and 8 minutes long. I feel it could have been 15 or 20 minutes shorter than it was. But other than that, I still really, really enjoyed the film. And it's really, really nice to see that the film is doing really, really well, especially on its opening weekend. Now, this movie was originally going to only be screened in a certain amount of theaters, but then once the trailer dropped, the amount of theaters increased, and thankfully it was screening in one of the theaters in my area, and I checked it out, and yeah, I'm glad I saw it. I thought it was really, really good, and it's really nice to see a film like this do so well and dominate the box office. And actually, on the opening weekend, it was second. It was number two on the list for the successful movies in the box office on its opening weekend. It was right behind Send Help. So again, it's very nice to see such a a self-produced independent film do so well like this. It's just indie cinema forever, I guess you can say. But anyways, I don't have anything else to say about this movie, so I'm giving Iron One an 8 out of 10. And the last film for this video is The Chronology of Water, directed by Kristen Stewart, who you might recognize her from some of her movies that she's acted in over the years, like the Twilight movies, Panic Room, Love Lies Bleeding, Spencer, and a couple of other movies. And this was also Kristen Stewart's directorial debut. Now, this film is based on a memoir with the same name that was written by Lydia Yakinovich, and it was originally published in 2011. I've never read the memoir that it was based on, but it sounds interesting, and especially after watching this movie, it makes me want to check it out and give it a read. So this film follows Lydia, played by Imogen Poots, who you might recognize her from 28 Weeks Later. She was the older sister in that movie. But anyways, it follows Lydia through her traumatic childhood where she suffered abuse at the hands of her father and struggled with her life after she moved out, from being a competitive swimmer to getting addicted into drugs and stuff like that. And then she eventually finds her voice in writing, and this film basically just follows her life through her ups and downs and different relationships and stuff. So that's basically, well, without giving away too much detail of what the story is about, that's basically what it is in a nutshell. I really, really enjoyed the film, although it definitely isn't a film for everybody, but I personally really, really enjoyed it. It had some good music, it was well shot, and it had some good color blending in this film, and it had some good performances, especially from Imogen Poots. And Thora Birch was in this movie, surprisingly. She looks a lot different in this movie compared to a lot of the movies she was in when she was younger. And I, all in all, really enjoyed the film, although I found the first a little bit of the movie a bit hard to follow. It was just a little confusing, but as it progressed, it started to make sense of where it was going. But I just found the first 20 or so minutes a little bit hard to follow. But I really enjoyed the film. I am curious into reading what the memoir was like after watching this movie. I'll probably check it out one day. It's a it's definitely it's definitely a bit of a sad story, but I found the film really, really engaging. And like I said, I am curious into seeing what the memoirs like. But again, I really, really enjoyed the film. But once again, not for everybody. And if you like these types of movies, I would recommend you check them out. And I wonder what Kristen Stewart will direct next after this movie. So I'm giving the Chronology of Water an 8 out of 10. Well, there you guys have it. That's going to be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like, comment below, and if you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe. And stay tuned for more videos that'll be coming out soon. But in the meantime, this is Kooky McGee signing off. Thanks for watching. Hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you all later. Take it easy, guys. Peace.